Okay, Dark Matter, 1968. Are your kids in the comics? No. My son, he loved the Spider-Man movies. The third one was so bad he was done. And let me think. He's got a little thing for Blue Beetle, and he liked the Return of Bruce Wayne, but that's about it. He's not really into it at all. Um, do they get your stash when you pass? No. You're stranded on a deserted island for the rest of your life. What are 5 items you would bring? A bag of Doritos. I'm going to bring a satellite phone. I'm going to bring Les Stroud from Survivor Man. Uh, I'm going to, something with Gilligan's Island. I don't know, something Gilligan. And probably another bag of Doritos. Okay, and why? I think those are all, they explain themselves. Okay. Captain Strangelove gave me a stumper here, and I'm still thinking about it, so we're going to shoot from the hip. What Marvel and DC character would you like to see married, and why? So I'm assuming he wants one from Marvel and one from DC. And that's huge. But I think that, my God, that's a good question. What Marvel and DC character would I have married? Oh, I think I would do Alfred Pennyworth and Jarvis, the butler from the Avengers. Okay. MAW 00001. What superpowers would you have? If I could have any superpowers. Believe it or not, I actually think I'd want the power to shrink. Kind of like the Atom. And, a lot of people go super strength and invisibility and all this stuff. I think shrinking would be cool. I really do. Does my ass look big in this? Yes, it does. MAW 00001, but I like a little junk in my trunk. If you could spend a day with anyone, alive or dead, not zombie, in comic book industry, who would it be and what would you do? Man, I don't know if there's anybody I really would want to hang out with. Because there's very few people that, I'm a fan of their work and stuff, and I'm not really starstruck with them. But honestly, I think I'd like to hang out with Jim Starlin. I got a feeling that this guy has some adventures. He did some acid, and he did it in the era of when it was to expand your mind, when it was for these optimistic reasons they did, and it's not the drug culture I'm interested in. It's the stories and how they were thinking in that 70s era that he grew up in, and how he came up with some of these ideas. And I think he's one of those people I'd really like to get to know him. Jim Starlin. It'd probably be Jim Starlin. Okay. Gambit 7075. If you could be any superhero sidekick. If you could be any superhero sidekick, who would you be and what would your name be? I would probably be the sidekick to either Black Canary or Zatanna, possibly even the Phantom Lady, and I would be Fishnet Repairman. Well, Fishnet Repair Lad. Okay. PM Night 12. Will Eisner, what do you think of his body of work? Excuse me. Oh, this isn't even half. I think his body of work is just swell, and it looks really good on me. Right. Future of Wonder Woman in TV, in films, in the Justice League movie. I kind of hope for the best. I hope for the best, and I think they are going to get it together. I think TV superheroes maybe it's going to be the good and the bad. I think we're going to see a lot of history repeating itself, but I think the way it's going to go is the movies. Warner Brothers is going to look at the plan that Marvel has done, the plan that Marvel has executed to leading up to the Avenger movies and stuff, and I think they're going to put their own little twist on it. I find it really not a coincidence that I saw clips for the new Superman movie coming out, and his costume looked a whole lot like, if not exactly like, the new Superman. No underwear on the outside, kind of armored look on Superman. So I think they've got a plan, and they're going to tie him a little bit closer to the comic and make him a little bit edgier. And I think, in my opinion, DC may one-up them simply because they've got to look at the blueprint that Marvel has done, and that's a first for me saying that. So, but to me, it really is sort of a moot point, because I'm so old school. I don't think they've ever or ever will top the first telling of the origin of Superman in the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie. All right. I see something about X-Men on here. Oh, the X-Men. Oh, the cover jam. He's PM Knight 12 is asking about the cover jam. What we did for you new people out there, what I did is that I ended up buying some comics, and I ended up getting this sketch cover for an X-Men #1. And what that is that's a blank cover with nothing but a logo on it, and it's meant for you to take it or draw on it, or take it to an artist at a convention or something, let them draw a cover for you. And what I did is I put out the call for the community on here, anybody who wanted to do a jam cover. Everybody puts an image on it, and we mailed it, and everybody's supposed to post a video when they get it, we're about to send it out, and when it comes back around to me, we'll unveil what everybody put on there. So far, I think it's finally done in Canada. It's gone through Chrome to One, Constant Bromstar, Gene Ace Paul Peter, Gene Peter Ace Paul. He had it there for a little while, and now Bacon Hallett has it, and that leaves I think 4 or 5 more people to go through it. So it's going there, and I actually have a playlist I'm keeping on my channel. Go to my playlist if you figure out the new YouTube format, and you can see its progress. But I'm real excited about it, man. I mean, everybody seems to be, from what Bacon Hallett said in his newest video today, it looks awesome, lots of color, and he's about to up the bar. He's changed what he's going to do after seeing what the quality of what's being put on that cover. So I'm really excited to see it. Okay, Blade 91100. There's a natural disaster. What 10 books would I grab, to save? I've actually got a long box of 300 comics. I've actually thought about this. There's a fire in the house. I get to grab one box and get out. So, and it's full of my Sandman run. It's full of my higher value comics. It's got a couple Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Fantastic Four, first appearance of Inhumans, stuff like that. Things that are precious to me, and they're worth money. It's got the Watchmen in it, and some original Sin City, and just my mint books and stuff that that are in really good shape. I've got one box where I can just grab it. It's got the I think I've got almost I got a huge collection of the Sandman by Neil Gaiman. I need to get in there and maybe need about 10-15 more books or something to complete. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. But yeah, it's not so much that it's 10 books that I would save. I actually have a long box of stuff that I've put in there, and it's no brainer stuff. I mean, it's the important books. I don't know if that's what you're looking for there. But see, I also have a top 10 video in my videos. So if you actually want specifically 10 books I would take, it's in those top 10. So I want to refer you back to the top 10 videos that came about a couple months ago. I think there is a playlist also that I have of top 10 videos from other people in the community too. Great stuff to watch. Okay. Would it be cool to live in a zombie apocalypse? I would freaking love it, but I'm telling you, it's thanks to me there will be no zombie apocalypse, because I'm not lucky enough to get out of debt that way. So What's your favorite cupcake? The one I ate on March 6, 1978. That was my favorite cupcake. That's some good stuff. Okay, Warzone Spider. The one comic that would tear me up inside to get rid of. Right here, the complete Frank Miller. Because my grandmother, I was ready to have a big long talk about her. I actually thought about this. My grandmother, I don't know what happened to me if she wasn't there for me in my life, and she would have drinks while she was riding around, and with my mother and stuff. She drove her kids nuts. I ended up taking care of her for 9 months. I was really close to her, and she bought this for me on the side there, out of a bookshop. She saw me looking at it, and we didn't have a lot of money, but Grandma caught on that I wanted to have this, and she got it for me, and that's this. I could probably get rid of everything and keep this and be alright with that. Okay. 27 Zaldon. 27 XALDON says OMAC lives. Yes, he does. Hal Depot 2, most important comic book published since 1990, and I wished I pulled this out. And he said it could be important culturally, influentially, or change the industry. And I really thought about this, and the way the industry is now, it's kind of trendy. I mean, to me, it's really hard to think of the one book that has really changed things, But I want to go with, I believe it was Sandman 19 by Charles Vess and Neil Gaiman. If I got the issue number, my bad, but it was a Shakespeare story, Midsummer's Night Dream take, because this won a fantasy award, a coveted fantasy literary award, and within 24 hours of this comic book winning this prestigious award, they changed the rules to where it could never happen again. That comic book has made history, and it made an industry freak out, and that book is in the history. I mean, that comic book is in the history books. Okay, I mean, it's and they can never take that away. That can never be taken away. And so that's the one I pick, my personal opinion. Okay. Super Gray Hulk, top 5 creators of all time and why. And yeah, I'm running along here. So top 5 creators of all time and why. It's kind of cliche, but I think I can add a few people. Will Eisner, of course. 7 pages challenged him to come up with storytelling techniques that sort of became what comics are supposed to be. William Gaines for his EC Comics, and the fact that he was the first legacy person in comics because his dad actually invented the format of a comic book. I can go on and on about him. I want to have to say Robert Crumb. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that. I've probably read Robert Crumb off and on for maybe 15 years, and I don't have a lot of his stuff because I've got one great big huge, I don't know what you call it, but it's an oversized hardback book though. It's called The Complete Crumb or something like that. But that man took a comic book format, and forget about the drug culture and stuff, but he really did something nobody else was doing. It really bothers me to give him credit. Of course, Jack Kirby, and I want to put Joe Siegel and Jerry Schuster together as one because they started it all. They're the ones who made it popular. There were pulp heroes before that. Crimson Avenger was there before Superman, on and on. But it was because of Superman that led to Batman, that led to Captain Marvel, that led to the industry. I hope I said Kirby. I mean, that should be, that was a little self-explanatory. Okay. Edward2962. What steps do you think the industry can take to broaden the Shrieking audience? Go back to having some quality stories. You know, I mean, I know they need to make money and keep this business going and stuff, but let's stop coddling some of these artists and stop making superstars. And let's get back to character and stories and exposition and pacing in comic books let's go back to making comic books. You know, give us some quality back. You know, it's go back to the art form it was. Second question: do you think constant reboots hurt or help comics? Well, if they do the first question and make good comics, they don't need to do number 2 with reboots and stuff. People have short attention spans. Well, not people in general, but you know, the younger kids do. And you know, everybody wants a number 1 and all this stuff, and it takes away consistency, and people want to have burnout. I mean, Marvel has one event leading right into the next event, you know, and you know, they're making some money. And that's what it's all about, I'm sure. But I remember how you wanted a creative team to get on a book so you could follow them, and you wanted them there for a long time, and that's what kept you there, you know. Okay, Go Pee Pants, greatest name on YouTube ever. What inspired you to delve outside the superhero box? Now that was a good question, because I've never really thought about how that happened, but I just know that I would see stuff and give it a chance. You know, I wanted to see some new stuff. It took me a while to get, you know, some stuff freaked me out, some stuff just turned me off, and I would read it as an older kid and think this was great. But I always sort of had a thing for comic book bunnies and the animals. I always wanted something different. You know, spandex. Even you know, 9, 10 years old, the whole superhero thing was just you know, you need to be stimulated a little bit different. So I don't think there's anything that really influenced me. I think there were some quality stories and some covers that the book just looked interesting. You know, that's a great question though, and if I think of anything else, I will personally message you on that one. Okay. And then Melbourneian comic fan, what's the most expensive comic you own? I tell you what, this stumped me. I've been collecting for so long, since 1977, and I made a whole video before about my journey there, that I hit times where I was sick of all this. I couldn't believe I was just look at it like, what have I done? You know, is this what have I done? And then, you know, I look at price guides, and it would drive me nuts, you know, trying to figure out what was going to be worth something. Then that glut of comics that came out in the 90s where everybody thought they would want to buy some comics and retire on it when they got old and stuff like that, and lost a lot of joy for the collecting, you know. And so when I read your question, I had absolutely no clue, and I was actually kind of happy with that, because that means I'm collecting because I love the comics. I'm sure I've got some books here that are worth some money. I got some old Fantastic Four Jack Kirby, and I got a Tarzan Dale annual from the 50s. I mean, I'm not nothing to look at, but I started realizing I really haven't looked at a price guide probably in like 5 or 6 years. I'll go to Mile High Comics to check out a comic every now and then, you know, see what they're selling it for and stuff. But I can walk into a comic book shop and just somehow know what the price range on a book should be, you know. So I really don't know. I've sold some. I've actually had 3 big instances of being ripped off, and I know that I needed some money a few years ago, and I sold stuff like Werewolf by Night number 32. That was the first appearance of Moon Knight. I sold my Spider-Man 300. Just kind of my money books and stuff. And what's weird is I like my Spider-Man 300 back, but the other stuff that I sold, I never read them. It's kind of, I'm kind of in a good place collecting wise, you know. I don't know if that answered any questions, but I just know on eBay I sold some stuff too. Like I sold a Batman and Robin variant, All-Star Batman and Robin variant for like $140, you know. So it's all worth. It's all about. It's only worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for it in the end. Now, if I run across Fantastic Four #1, by God, I'm going to know exactly how much that's worth. You know. I got let's see, who is this? Two people asked the same question. The oldest comic book since you brought it brand new. I've gone over this a whole lot too. It's Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, number 255 from 1979. Bought that when I was 6 years old. This is the exact copy, the same copy. I actually consider this my first comic that I bought for 40 cents. Okay. That was John Noyes, and I think a comic book mom asked that question. Now, a comic book mom, how long have you been collecting comics? I started reading comics seriously around 3 or 4. I got a video about that whole journey, you know, reflecting on that and stuff, what influenced me, how I got in comics. So, you know, I'm kind of going to refer that to you, but basically I had a stepdad and an uncle that had comic books and Conan and all this stuff just all over the place, and I just started reading there, and then, you know, bought me a few comics here and there when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and probably around 7 to 10 is when I actually got serious about this, you know. So, you know, going back to 1977, basically 77, 78. But, you know. In my Holy Grail comic, that's from Hippie Collectible. It was this that I got last summer. This is a Gold Key Johnny Quest book, pretty much that redoes the pilot episode of the Lizard Men of Johnny Quest, and it's the only Johnny Quest comic book that came out in the 60s. That was a Holy Grail comic. And the other one was New Gods, number 1. So, alright guys, if you guys stuck in there for that, kudos to you, and appreciate all the questions and the Q&As and stuff. So, hang in there, and thanks for sticking around. Alright. We'll have another part coming up later in the week announcing the contest and the shout outs to everybody.